Welcome to the Prep Huddle podcast. KJ Pilcher alongside colleagues Jeff Linder and Jeff Johnson, ready to talk a little high school football. Week 8 coming up. And for many of you, you realize that week 8 now is the regular season finale for our small classes, 8-player through 2A, and of course some big games for 3A, 4A, 5A as they approach the regular season finale in week 9. We're right smack in the middle of October. I got to ask you guys, just for fun, what is your favorite horror movie? Since we're in the month of ghouls and goblins and all that gobbledygook.
Let me think about this.
I have different categories. I have like super scary, the scariest one I've ever seen, obviously The Exorcist. Even as a near 50-year-old, I will not watch it. I won't watch it ever again. It was that scary to me. There are some that I really, really enjoy for maybe the comedic value, like Sorority Babes at the Slimeball Bowl-orama. I think some of our generation will know USA Up All Night, those type of movies. And then there are some classics like Halloween and stuff. But what about you guys for a favorite horror movie?
Nope. No.
You just avoid it altogether.
I watched Friday the 13th when I was 16, I think, and nope. I gotta go The Exorcist. I'm going old school. Or
Really?
actually, the one with Jack Nicholson where they were in the hotel at Estes Park.
The Shining.
Yes.
The Shining.
The Shining. There you go. That's probably the way I'd go. Is The Shining.
That's a classic.
Yep.
Well, Linder, do you have a favorite Halloween movie that's not a horror movie then?
Oh, what else is there? Charlie Brown. Didn't they do a Halloween?
There you go.
Charlie Brown. Great Pumpkin,
Halloween.
Charlie Brown. That's still I still watch it with the girls when we have a chance. So cool. All right. We'll switch gears to actual football from last week in week 7. We were out and about. Linder, you probably had the kind of the game of the week, I guess you would say. Williamsburg and Solon, 2 highly ranked teams. And what did you see down there at Williamsburg?
I saw a lot of Grant Hooker and Race Heitman. They teamed up for 3 touchdown passes. I think Hooker's at 34 touchdown passes already through 7 weeks, and Heitman, I think, has 19 touchdown receptions already, and both of them lead the state in their respective categories there. The play of the game, though, was a defensive stop right at the beginning of the second quarter. Williamsburg was ahead 7-6, and Solon had 1st and goal at the 3, which became 4th and goal at the 1, and Williamsburg stuffed him, and I think 3 plays after that, Williamsburg had a touchdown on the other end, and it was 21-13 at halftime, and it was all Williamsburg in the second half.
Lindy, what do you think? I saw Williamsburg early in the year. Why do you think that that combo Hooker to Heitman has been so successful, or is so successful?
Well, Heitman's just so athletic. They had the athlete of the year last year in Derek Weiskopf, and I think Heitman's kind of cut out of the same cloth. Just a big rangy kid who's fast too, and he's really good. And Hooker's he can throw the ball. And I think he was injured last year. I think that might have been a reason that they kind of did some musical chairs at the quarterback position. And he can throw it. And they've got enough of a running game in Niles Sin that keeps people honest, and you just can't really rely defensively on stopping one or the other.
And they have a good tall receiver on the other side too.
Yeah.
that had a really good game when I against Xavier when I was.
Yeah, they had three different guys that had touchdown receptions. Cale Moore had one. Niall Sin came out of the backfield and had one for 67 yards, and Heitman had three. So let's see, what were the stats from that? 10 for 16 for 206 yards passing for Williamsburg in that, and just one pick. So Williamsburg's back, and you going to bet a bit against them in November? I'm not.
No.
No, not at all. One of the things that, and maybe I'm wrong, I've been focused so much on their offense, but with all the points that they put up and everything they do offensively, you mentioned the stop that was such a key part of the game. I think people overlook just how good Williamsburg their defense is year in and year out.
Yeah, they gave up 298 total, but 80 yards was on one run by Eddie Johnson. So take that away, and we're looking at 218. But they pitched a shutout in the second half against Solon. That's not easy to do. So they're very good defensively. They're physical, they're fast, and that's kind of the way it's been for the last 5 or 6 years when they've really been a power.
Now, it was a special night outside of just the game itself. You were there to award our 2024 Athlete of the Year award to Derek Weiskopf. What was that like? And, can you just kind of mention how?
Yeah, it was the AOY Express, because it happened at the end of the first quarter. And, there wasn't really a lot of meet and greet time. I ran down to the track, handed it off, shook his hand, and ran back up to the press box. And I actually, to be honest, I missed the stop to start the second quarter at the 1. So I just heard a lot of cheering, and Weiskopf was pumping his fist, and people were pretty happy.
That's awesome. And just to mention, kudos to Jeff Linder, because he puts a lot of time and effort into that award. That's something that we, speaking for you guys, and I hope it's safe to do that. That's something that means a lot to us. That's an award that we put a lot of thought and effort into, because at the base of it, we want to be able to honor not just the winners, but the nominees and all the people that are put up for it, the finalists. It's an opportunity for us to shed a big spotlight on the seniors and their careers when it's all said and done. So, thanks.
And one thing I would say, and it's not just me, it's us. I think one of the best things we did was, I don't know, it's probably been 15 or 20 years ago. We really started, we did the finalist section a week before we did the winners. And I think that we were able to recognize a few more people that way. And, I think that's one of the better things we've done. I think I'm biased, but I think Athlete of the Year is one of the best things our sports department does year in and year out.
Agreed. Jeff, let's move over to your game from last week. Tell us where you're at. You're in North Lynn, and you received an award. Transition from the Athlete of the Year to the Troy Mills Gazette
Man of the Year. Yeah.
Gazette Man of the Year.
Thanks, Griff. I owe you, buddy. And Pilcher, I owe you too. So, I was up there in beautiful suburban Troy Mills for Northland and Maquoketa Valley, and Maquoketa Valley was a 35-16 win, and earned every bit of it. No question, they were the better team on this night. Northland had, I think, three or four turnovers that led to points, and Maquoketa Valley took the opening kickoff, drove all the way down, and scored a touchdown, and that was pretty much it. It was crazy because we talked last week, boys, about how the defenses for those teams have been so good. One was averaging giving up like 2 some points a game. The other one's giving up like 1 some point a game. And you were right, 35-16. That's a lot more than what the 3 total points that they were giving up as a team. But but Coconut Valley's got a nice team. There's no question, and they're pretty young. They play a lot of juniors and a number of sophomores that made plays in that game, and they're sitting on top of the district now. What is District 4, I believe, right, Lindy? With a game to go against Starmont here on Friday night and win that, they win the district and get a number 1 seed, I guess, for the playoffs. So, just very impressive, and I think Northland's a good ball club too. Cole Griffith at KJ, you and I were talking about this the other day. It's like at any level, I don't know that I've seen a kid with more quick feet than what that kid's got. He can bounce it outside at the drop of a hat and kind of take off. So, I mean, these 2 ball clubs are going to be tough outs in the playoffs. There's no question about that.
I was at Marion last week, crowded house for the Decorah Marion game. Really wanted to see Decorah live, and I tell you, very impressed with the Vikings. They beat shorthanded Marion team, missing Caleb Deers due to shoulder injury. So it was kind of rough for Marion, but Decorah 57-14, the victory there. And of course, you got to give Marion credit, man. They battled for a little more than a quarter. I mean, they were right there with them. Even after Decorah finally broke its goose egg with about 10 minutes to go in the second quarter, bomb from Lewis, who apparently likes to be called Louis Buxo, to Will Larson. And then Marion answered right back with a bomb from Andrew Alman, who's stepping in for Deers, to Matthew Danger to tie it up 7-7. But then after that, it was all Decorah. I believe Buxa threw for 4 touchdowns in that second quarter. And I tell you, the thing that impressed me about Buxa was the different passes he delivered on those 4 touchdown passes. Some were a touch pass. The throw that he dropped in on Larson in stride for a 64-yard touchdown pass. A lot of touch on it. Great placement. Got good air under the ball. And then on a couple of those touchdowns, they were slant patterns, and he delivered bullets. I mean, absolutely fastballs that he threw in there. He's got receivers with good hands. Tommy Sexton made one of those catches and then carried 2 or 3 defenders for about 3 yards into the end zone. Larson has got good hands. Not only was he able to beat guys deep, he caught a couple of those slant passes. I think I had him for 97 yards receiving. I think the team had him for 94. Gavin Grew also had a nice touchdown catch, and Carter DeLay. He had a big 35-yard gain. He's got a lot of weapons. Noah Milburn, tight end, made a nice grab as well. So Decorah, their offense looks like they do want to establish a run, but man, if they want to air it out, it looks like they could do that as well. And they've got a really good defense, good linebacking core. We mentioned Tommy Sexton. He's a part of that. Trevor Kennan. The 2 of them had 2 interceptions apiece and each ran one back for a touchdown, so they're good and athletic. And you add Gatlin Dahlberg in there, and they've got a really nice linebacking core that really shut things down for Marion after that one touchdown bomb at a 78-yarder for Marion. So came away really, really impressed with Decorah. And, I know there's a lot of focus on the Xaviers of 4A and Western Dubuque, but don't overlook Decorah, because I think they're a team that certainly can compete, and we'll find out this week, here, week 8, where Decorah hosts Western Dubuque. So we'll get another good gauge for Decorah there. Any other games from last week that kind of stand out to you? I know in 5A, Liberty with a nice win at Ankeny. Do you think this is a sign that there's a team that can compete with those Central Iowa teams, or is that putting too much stock into a Week 7 result?
I think it's good validation for Liberty, and there have been a few chinks in the armor this year. Prairie beat Southeast Polk earlier this year. Did Cedar Falls beat one of the good teams out there? Did they beat Johnston, or was it the other way around?
Was it Johnston, maybe?
They beat somebody.
They beat Johnston 37-34 in week 2. So that's another one. And, it's not like this has been a powerhouse year for the Metro teams, but, we've seen a little bit of that now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's going to be interesting to see how the playoffs shake out when we here in a couple of weeks, and what seeds everybody's going to get, and how many matchups we're going to get. Central Iowa, Eastern Iowa. So
Liberty is number 2 in the RPI now, and they finish with Waterloo West and Jeff, so they should be 8-1, and probably will hold on to that number 2 slot unless Bettendorf happens to get beat by either Prairie or City High. And if that happens, Liberty would be the number 1 team in RPI.
Wow.
How about that?
Yeah.
Looking at some of the other scores in the Metro and Iowa City, the Kolach Bowl this last week, Prairie with a big 56-7 win over Jefferson. Nice job. Nice win for the Hawks there and for the Jayhawks. Back-to-back tough losses to West and Prairie, even though they have a chance to bounce back here with Davenport Central this Thursday. But how do they kind of rebound from those two lopsided results?
Eerily reminiscent to last season, right, boys? For Jefferson, so. Riding high, 4 pretty dominant wins against inferior teams to start the season. Tough loss to Washington on the last play, and then a couple of blowout losses since then. But it would be huge. Thursday night, I know you're going to be there, KJ. It'd be huge for that program to come up with a winning season, and I think certainly attainable against Davenport Central. So,
yeah, certainly a nice win for Prairie too, because you mentioned they started out. That's our first win since knocking off Southeast Polk on September 13th. Had back-to-back wins with Senior and Polk, and then kind of hit a tough part of the schedule with PV, Liberty, and Ankeny. But now 3-4 heading into week 8. So good win for Prairie. Some lopsided scores with some of our other area teams. City High won big over Davenport North. think that's their 5th straight victory. They won 56-27. Kennedy finally gets back into the win column. They beat Dubuque Hempstead 45-14, and then Linmar with a 55-6 victory over Davenport West. If you get a chance, look back on the feature I did last week on Carson Lenz, their leading tackler. A 3-year starter has pretty much been their defensive leader the last 2 years, and really even kind of broke through as a sophomore as well. So give that a read. Iowa City West beat Cedar Rapids, Washington 56-21 as well. Xavier won big. They traveled down to Oskaloosa last week, and the Saints won 35-0. We talked about Western Dubuque. They won big over Waterloo East, not surprising, 42-10. North Scott beat Clear Creek Amana 28-7. Clear Creek had things kind of going in a good way, but that the North Scott kind of bounced back with a victory there as well. Any other results that kind of stand out to you from the area? I know Benton Community keeps rolling. They beat Grinnell 38-7, but anything else stand out to you?
Yeah, I got to say Beckman beating Iowa City Regina, handing the Regals of their first loss. That was big, 28-15. I'm not sure that we saw that coming, but Beckman's a very capable team, right? 5-2, going to make the playoffs, and led that thing, pretty much the whole way, just looking at the box score. So that's a big deal.
Got to give credit where it's due. Lindy has mentioned that Beckman's was a sneaky good team. He said that for a few weeks, and Lindy, they sure proved it here with that win over Regina. Not just a win, but pretty decisive one. Pretty
convincing win, and I think that also validates Alburnett, which is having a nice season and has a win over Beckman. We haven't talked a whole lot about Alburnett, but they've had a really nice year as well.
Yeah, well, the Pirates lost to the 3 good teams: Northland,
Alvarden, and Grundy, and Northland.
Yeah. So that they're going to be a playoff team, right, Jeff?
Yeah, they're going to make it.
Okay.
Speaking of playoffs, why don't we kind of delve into some of the RPI stuff? I know, Lindy, you do such a great job with figuring this stuff out and kind of coming up with the scenarios for kind of the competitive races or teams that are vying for postseason berths. What do you have something kind of broken down heading into week 8?
Yeah, I do. Actually, before we go there, I wanted to revisit Beckman for just a moment. Quite a week last week for the Mather family. Cole Mather is the head coach at Beckman, and they got the big win over Regina on Friday. His dad, of course, is Brett Mather, the volleyball coach at West Delaware, who got his 1,000th win last week. So just little Mather trivia there. So RPI, what do you want to know? Where do you want to start? You want to start in 5A?
That'd be great. Yep,
all right. All right. So we'll just kind of touch on kind of the area teams. Liberty right now, like we said, is sitting at number 2. Actually, they would have a procedural bump. Pleasant Valley would jump over them because Pleasant Valley is 3 and has the head-to-head advantage there. So they'd be sitting 3. So I was wrong earlier with that. They're in no matter what happens. They got Waterloo West and Cedar Rapids Jefferson to close. So they'd be favored in both of those games, should get to 8-1. And worst case scenario, they'd be a 3 seed if that happens. So, which would be 2 home games before the Dome, which would be quite an accomplishment for Scott Chandler and his first year there. I'm just going to lump Linn-Mar and City High together. They play this week. Linn-Mar is 6, City High is 7. They're both as good as in. It would be hard to see any scenario, either if both those teams lose out, that they wouldn't make it. Linn-Mar's got 2 tough games. They both have 2 tough games. Linn-Mar's got City High and PV. City High has Linn-Mar and Bettendorf. So I would say that with those 2 teams, the winner of this game is almost definitely going to have a home game. They'll be a top 8 seed, even if they would get beat next week. The loser would be in the playoffs, but would probably be on the road. Iowa City West right now sitting at 14. They've got 2 toughies. They've got PV and Prairie. West would need to win at least 1 to get in, and 1 should be enough. If they lose them both, they would be out. Prairie, same thing. They've got Bettendorf and West. They need to win 1 to have a chance. 2 would get them in. 1 puts them on the fence, and probably would be the wrong side of the fence. So they've got to find a way to win both those games, and that's going to be difficult. And that leaves us with, let's talk about Kennedy at 2 and 5.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, they play Cedar Falls this week. Cedar Falls is 3 and 4 right now. Cedar Falls is 21 in the RPI. Kennedy's at 24. Definitely an elimination game. The loser's out. If Kennedy would find a way to win both, I think they're in. I think they're in at 4 and 5. So, and obviously the same thing with Cedar Falls if they would win out and get to 5 and 4. So this is kind of the money game for Kennedy because they've got Davenport North next week, which isn't a gimme, but should be a win. Any questions on 5A?
No,
Keep
you
teaching
can
us.
see how. No, but you can see how Kennedy's strength of schedule is really benefited, even though it didn't produce maybe as many wins as you thought it would. But I think they have to feel pretty fortunate to still have a shot here in the possibility of making the postseason if they run the table.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, even at 4 and 5, if they're a 15 or 16 seed, they'll be a headache for somebody if they can kind of get their ducks in a row and start playing the way they're capable. They'll be a relatively tough out. So 4A, let me get both my sheets here. District 2, Decorah is the leader at 3-0. Waverly's 2-1. Western Dubuque's 2-1. I think, let's see, Western Dubuque plays at Decorah this week. I think no matter what happens, all 3 of those teams are probably going to get in. Waverly would be iffy if they would drop 1, but they've got Waterloo East and Marion, so they probably should get in as well. District 3, Xavier's 3-0, North Scott 2-1, Clear Creek 2-1, Clinton 2-1, believe it or not. Xavier, I would say is a fairly comfortable favorite in both, should go on to win the district title. North Scott probably would be the runner-up at 4-1. Clear Creek, they play Clinton in week 9. So if they can find a way to knock off Xavier, they're probably going to make the way into the playoffs as some sort of tie-break situation with Xavier North Scott. I don't think Clear Creek's probably got the points to get in as an at-large if they would drop one of the 2.
Really?
3A, let's see. Big game, obviously, this week at Independence. Independence plays West Delaware. The winner of that game will be the runner-up. With one more non-district loss, West Delaware's a little bit on thin ice than Independence would be. Independence should be in with, if they would split their last two games. West Delaware would be absolutely wait and see. So District 4 would be, that's the Mount Vernon Assumption Washington district. Mount Vernon would be heavily favored to win their last two against Washington and Keokuk, wrap that thing up, get to 8-1, 5-0, and win that district. Washington needs to win both games, get into a three-way tie, and see how the cards fall there. Assumption right now is looking like the 2 seed out of that district and would get into the playoffs at probably 4 and 5. They've got Keokuk and Mount Pleasant to close and should win both of those. Did a little bit of examining here, and if all the cards break right, I think District 5 has a chance to get all the good 4 teams in, which would be Williamsburg, Benton, Solon, and Grinnell. Right now they're sitting 6, 11, 12, and 13 in the RPI. The Williamsburg-Benton winner will be the district champion in week 9. Williamsburg plays Grinnell this week, which I would imagine Williamsburg would win, but it's not a gimme. Solon plays Fairfield South Tama, so even though they're 1 and 2 in the district, they're 5 and 2 overall. They should win their last 2 easily. Get in at 7 and 2. Grinnell plays Williamsburg Fairfield. If they would split those, I would think Grinnell would be kind of on that fence along with West Delaware, but probably would have a decent chance to get in, even at 2 and 3 in their district as the 4th team. And that kind of takes care of our 5A, 4A, 3A teams in RPI.
Sounds good. You guys ready for a little bit of a game?
Let's play a game.
All right. So, inspired by Wheel of Fortune with their little before and after, we have a football program mashup. And I think I've given you both the examples here. If I said one team's quarterback is set, the program's single season or career passing record last week, and team 2 plays in the Little Rose Bowl, that would be Iowa City West Branch. So they're sharing one of the names. So mashing the 2 programs together. Are you ready to play this?
Let's go.
All right. So these 2 teams, they're combined, I believe 12 and 2. Both of them have cats for monikers. Team 1 has never won a state title. However, before last week, their top 2 in defense and let's see, they led Class 1A with tackles for loss. Team 2 has 3 state titles, the last coming in 1989, 1990. In Class 5A, they were leading in rushing TDs with 17. And at one time, they were led by the Little General and the M&M Boys. Can you name the mashup?
Let me think. I know the one. 1A, huh?
Class A.
Oh, Class A was the other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maquoketa Lynn Valley. Linn-Mar Valley.
No, you're kind of close. Linder, do you have a guess?
Is it North Linn-Mar?
Boom. North Linn-Mar.
Okay, very good.
Yep. And of course, I did this 2 weeks ago, so some of the stats might be a little off. But yeah, the Little General and M&M Boys, that was your clue for Linn-Mar, where Greg Purnell, and of course, back in the early 90s. They're Jason Malloy and Mulhern. I think it was Mick Mulhern. Two really good standouts for those Lion teams there. Okay, so this one's out of the area, so think of more western and northwest Iowa with this one. So, team 1 has been in 3 straight title games and has won 2 titles. In the 2022 title game, they set a 4A finals record for return yards with 223. They have a former QB who played for TCU and has 18 playoff appearances. Team 2 has 23 playoff appearances. They've been in 2 straight title games. They've won 2 titles in 9 title game appearances. And they also had a former QB that plays for D1 but is a DB at Iowa.
I got it.
Go ahead, Lindy.
That would be Lewis Central, Lion, George Little Rock.
2 for 2. Lindy's all over it.
I knew
This one might be a little tougher. Okay, so we got 2 teams here. Team 1 leads 5A in pass attempts and completions. And they're second in receiving yards. They won a 1984 state title. And they have 29 playoff appearances since 1972. Team 2 has 21 playoff appearances. They've never been to the finals despite being in 4 semifinals, including 2021 and 2023. And 2 of their standout players over the years, I'll give you a clue. It's Fox Gallery.
Okay. Iowa City East.
No, give me the first one. I got the back end of it.
Okay. Leads 5A in pass attempts and completions. They won a state title in 1984.
Okay.
And they have 29 playoff appearances since 1972.
Would it be Sioux City, East Buchanan?
Yep.
Ah,
Nailed it.
I forgot they won that. They beat Waterloo West that year, I believe, 84.
I believe so. Yes. Nice work, JJ. Okay, this one's super easy. Mash up our alma maters current day. So I know it's going to be a little bit different for you, Lindy, because I don't think your alma mater.
My alma mater doesn't exist.
Yes. I thought we might go down that road, but current day.
Tore it down.
But it shares a school district with this one, correct?
Yes.
So right now they're 0-7 and 2-5. And
and one of them just ended Postville's long losing streak.
That's
right.
Congratulations, Pirates.
Yes.
So JJ, do you have that one?
Let's go. North Cedar Rapids, Washington.
There you go. JJ's on the board. Okay, so here's the last one. This one's a little tougher. It's three teams. So I'll be mashing up 3 programs. Okay, so one team, I believe, is 0-7, and they have 1 playoff appearance, which was in 1974. They play in Mediacom Stadium, and their mascot is one cool character. Cool character.
Got it. Okay.
Team 2, they started 1-5. They were a playoff team in 2022 and 2023. Their school district, the school district that it serves, includes Emmett, Kossuth, and Palo Alto counties. And the current school was established in 2014. So it's only 10 years old.
Yep.
Team 3 started 2-4. They have 15 playoff appearances. They've been to the finals twice and won a title in 2011 and were runner-up in 2016.
Got it.
Lindy.
You want to try?
No, that's two. I know Des Moines North, and the other two escape me.
Okay, I got Des Moines North Union Community.
Boom.
Oh, there you go. That's good.
Linder was too good at that game. I thought that would be fun and maybe tricky, but
it was tricky.
Nailed it.
It was fun. It was challenging.
Yeah. So,
what was Lincoln Community's nickname? Lindy?
Panthers, black and white.
Okay.
Really?
And the Rebels, Clarence Loudon were the Rebels. They were brown and white?
No, they were maroon and I think gray. Maroon and gray or white. I think maroon and gray and white. Mostly maroon.
Okay.
Are there any schools that have brown as a color outside of the University of Wyoming?
Brown University.
Brown University. I mean, okay. But Iowa high schools. Brown is such an ugly color.
Wow.
Yeah, unless you dress it up with some gold or orange or something like that, then it's all right. What is brown? The combination of black and what? Not red. Or is it just brown?
Yellow?
That's
black and yellow?
Probably.
Let's see.
Wow. I'll have to think about that to see if anybody has brown.
I don't think so.
Red, yellow, and blue.
That's brown?
Red, yellow, and blue.
Color. Red, yellow, and blue.
Okay.
Yeah, that would.
Says you can create brown from the primary colors of red, yellow, and blue.
Wow.
Just mud it up a little bit.
Just mud it. One thing we haven't had to worry about this year so far is mud because we haven't had any bad weather. And it looks good. Looks like another good Friday night here coming up for week 8. We kind of mentioned some of the games. Thursday, we have a couple area games. Clarksville at Meskwaki Settlement. And then Davenport Central versus Jefferson at Kingston on Thursday. And then on Friday, we really have a lot of top games. We mentioned City High 5-2 at Linn-Mar, 6-1. Little Hawks are ranked 9th. Lions are ranked 7th. Liberty at 6-1, ranked 8th, heads to Waterloo West, who is 5-2. I believe 2 straight losses, maybe for the Hawks, who started out really strong. Then you've got Pleasant Valley. I will be down at the Iowa City West for this game. Pleasant Valley ranked 4th, 6-1. The Trojans 4-3, and they're kind of clinging on to their playoff hopes, right?
Yeah. Yep. They've still obviously both have a lot. They've got some work to do. Yeah, they've got 2 tough games.
Cedar Rapids Prairie heads to Bettendorf. Bulldogs are ranked 3rd. They're 7-0. Prairie 3-4 after that win against Jefferson. We mentioned Cedar Falls and Kennedy. Cedar Falls 3-4. Kennedy 2-5 at Kingston Stadium. Davenport Central at Jeff. We mentioned it earlier. Top 10 matchup in Class 4A. Number 10 Western Dubuque 5-2, 2-1 in 4A District 2, I believe. Again at Decorah, ranked 4th, 7-0, 3-0 in the district. And if you're heading up there, stop by Mabe's Pizza. Or what's the ice cream place? The
Whippy Dip.
Whippy Dip. There we
The
go.
whippy dip. There we go.
Those are two Decorah staples. So if you're heading up that way for football, make sure to give yourself some time to stop at one of those two places.
Yeah.
You
Mapes
won't
Pizza, Whippy Dip, Darren Svensson. 3
Hey,
Decorah institutions.
Yes.
That is a trifecta worth. That's a fall trifecta worth experiencing for sure. Also in 4A, you've got number 6 Cedar Rapids Xavier 5-2, 3-0 in District 3, hosting Clear Creek Amana 4-3, 2-1. We mentioned kind of the scenario there for Clear Creek Amana going forward. In 3A, West Delaware at Independence. West Delaware 4-3, 2-1. Number 8 Independence 5-2, 2-1. And that one, Washington, Iowa has had a solid season. They're 5-2, 2-1, and they host number 4 Mount Vernon 6-1, 3-0. We already mentioned top-ranked Williamsburg heading to Grinnell for a big District 5 matchup there. One game that I'm kind of looking forward to, number 7 Northeast. They're 7-0, 4-0. They've put up some really big points throughout the year, and I think a team that's kind of flown under the radar a little bit, Anamosa. They're 6-1, 3-1 in District 4. And Linder, you're going to be up there, correct?
I will be. I'm looking forward to it. Anamosa had that loss against West Liberty, which was a little puzzling, but they bounced back with wins over Tipton and Comanche. And big game against Northeast. That's even though Anamosa's got a loss, that's winner that wins the district.
Regina coming off its loss to Beckman. They're ranked number 9. They will host number 2 Wilton, who's 7-0, 4-0 in District 1A, District 5. The Regals 6-1, 3-1 there for a biggie. Northland coming off its loss to Maquoketa Valley in Class A District 4 heads to Bellevue. Northland 6-1, 5-1. Bellevue 5-2, 5-1, coming off a win over Starmont, I believe. Then 8-player number 6 Iowa Valley 7-0 faces Belle Plaine 6-1 in the non-district game, kind of highlighting 8-player there. And JJ, the big one, I think the big one of the week, City High and Linn-Mar. And you're going to be out at Linn-Mar Stadium for that.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Will City High score another late touchdown and go for 2? Get the win. They did it. They did it this year. So, it'll be really interesting. Kind of Linn-Mar's rushing attack and City High's passing attack. Bobby Bacon just set City High's school career passing yardage record, which is an unbelievable feat. So, really looking forward to that one. Haven't seen City High, seen Linn-Mar once, and that was early in the season. So, should be one of the marquee games, I guess, this week around the state, regardless of class. So,
yeah, and I think you really hit it on the head. I think this game is going to teeter on Linn-Mar's success around the ball and whether or not City High can slow it down. I think Linn-Mar's defense is a little bit better than maybe some of the other teams.
Kennedy, yeah.
But Kennedy, Jacob Doyle had an outstanding game against City High. If you've got Dylan Mazinski that can control the clock and get gains and put up some big yardage, get in the end zone, and City High struggles to stop the run, it could work well in Linn-Mar's favor. On the other hand, if they can't slow down Bobby Bacon and Sutherland and some of the targets that he has, it certainly could be a long day for Linn-Mar as well. But I think it might just hinge on that City High's defensive front and Linn-Mar's run game kind of battling it out there. So
agreed. Yep.
Be interesting to see. All right. Well, I think that really brings us to a close here. Heading into week 8, Guys, are there any other general comments or
Yeah,
anything we can hit on?
playoff field, the brackets for 2A on down will be out. I think they're supposed to be released at 10 a.m. on Saturday.
Okay. All
I'd like to mention Race Heitman got a PWO from Iowa this week.
That's right.
So that'll be interesting to see if he follows Terry Weiskopf to University of Iowa. And there's one other thing I can't remember. Props to Keenan Kilberg at Bellevue. 20 catches Friday night against Starmont. 20 for like 214 yards and I think 3 touchdowns or something. And that's top 5. The 20 is like 5th all time for a game in Iowa high school history. So
wow.
Props to you, Mr. Kilberg.
That's really impressive against a quality opponent too.
Yeah.
So we'll see if I guarantee you they'll be Northland will be well aware of where he's at on the field on Friday.
You would
right?
think, yes, you would think.
He might be shadowed by Keel Benish or even Cole Griffiths, but Justin or Jared Collin will certainly know where that young man is when Bellevue has the ball. That's for sure. So, just to remind everybody, check out all of our content at thegazette.com. Rankings, games of the week, features, how all the ranked teams fared that gets compiled. It's our 4 Downs segment where we answer random questions about high school football that we hope you enjoy. You can follow each of us on Twitter, JT Linder for Jeff Linder, at JEJE66 for Jeff Johnson, at KJ Pilcher for myself. Again, Lindy, you will be at
Anamosa
on Friday. JJ, where will you be?
Linmar for similar Linmar and City High.
Yep. And I will be at Iowa City West. So follow along and check out all our great content from us and from our correspondents as well. And want to thank you guys for all that you do. Thanks for Nathan Ford for producing this for us, and thank everybody out there for watching, and we'll see you next week.